Howdy, hi, hello. Welcome in. I'm so happy you're here. Um, I'm Christina Cherry. I'm a burnout coach and play educator. I am certified in the science of happiness, and this is the missing piece. So, this workshop is where I teach you the one thing that most burnout recovery advice completely skips over, and that thing is play. So I know some of you are, hip to my play tips and tricks, but I know also some of you, when I say that, maybe go like, okay, but I don't really have time for that. Or maybe like that sounds nice, but it's not really my thing. And I get that. And I used to feel the exact same way. Here's the number one thing I want you to know before we dive in, and that is that play is not the reward you get after you recover. It's actually the way you recover. And that's what we're going to get into today. So, as I mentioned, camera on or off is totally up to you. The chat is open. If you want to chime in on mic, great. All means of communication are available to you. Okay, you also took a play archetype quiz before you came. That's going to be very useful here in a few minutes. So hold on to whatever result you got. And if you didn't get a chance to take it, all will be revealed. So just stay with me. And then towards the end, I'll share some resources for people who want to keep going and learning more. But just know that this workshop is complete on its own and you will get tangible next steps. Okay, I'm going to start with a story. So, a few years ago, I got hit by a truck in Brooklyn. I'm okay, obviously, but I say it like it's casual and it wasn't. It was one of those moments that kind of splits your life into before and after. And the thing that surprised me most wasn't the recovery, it was what the recovery revealed. I realized that I had basically been surviving everything, like not just the accident. My whole life had become a series of things to get through. Work, stress, the next thing, the next thing. I was like checking off boxes, but feeling completely hollowed out. And at the time, I had been a business coach really for years prior, and I knew the language of burnout. I had helped other people with it, and I still couldn't see what was happening to me because I was doing it in a very high functioning, convincing way. So after the accident, I was really struggling with my identity and with my mental state. I was in therapy and I had tried virtually like every wellness trend, journaling, breath work, yoga, meditation, all of the things. But nothing really was really bringing me back to myself. So I started studying happiness. And I thought that if I studied it, then maybe I could use that knowledge to find my way back to the feeling. And it worked, just not in the way that I expected. So during my Harvard course, there was a lesson where you make a list of things you do that make you lose track of time. And that was really a light bulb moment for me because that is the definition of play. So I started researching that and looking to Dr. Stuart Brown and the National Institute for Play and taking play seriously. Not the kind that's just like being fun, but like doing things that actually make you feel alive. So that's what I've been coaching people through for the past year. And it's what I want to share with you guys all today. Now, I want to ask you something, and I want you to actually answer it. It could be in your head, it could be in the chat, in whichever way feels good. When was the last time you were doing something you love with no goal attached to it? So, like, no outcome, no productivity, nothing to show for it, just because you wanted to. Think about it, take a couple. this morning. Holly, you're an A plus student. Okay. So most people I ask this question, yeah. Most people I ask this question, it takes them a really long time to answer, or they start naming things that then immediately they add this qualifier, right? Like I run, but it's for this marathon I'm training for, or I paint, but I haven't in months, or like I used to do XYZ. And that is really encapsulated by this. The disappearance of play is not a symptom of burnout, it is actually one of the causes. So, most burnout recovery advice tells you to rest more, to sleep, to take the day off, or take a vacation, go on sabbatical. And all those things matter, but they're treating the output problem, like the depletion. They're not filling anything back up. So, what Dr. Brown's research actually shows is that play deprivation in adults produces many of the same symptoms as burnout. So, that's difficulty concentrating, emotional flatness, loss of motivation, the inability to like experience pleasure from things you used to really enjoy. So you're not just tired, you're play deprived, and those actually require two different things. And the Yale and Harvard research I studied points to the same thing. The activities most strongly correlated with well-being are the ones that create these flow states. So that's absorption, presence, intrinsic reward. You lose track of time. So that's play, and that's always been play. And that could be making art, going for a long walk where you notice things, even deep conversation with no agenda is play. And the reason we don't do it isn't time. It's that somewhere along the way, most of us internalized that play is what you do after you earn it, after the work is done, and after you've essentially justified your existence for the day. And as you all know, the work is never done. So then the play never comes. And that's the trap that we're untangling. Okay, so I want you to do something with me. It's going to take about 30 seconds, and I need you to actually do it, not just think about it. So look around the space you're in right now, wherever you are, and find one object that catches your attention. Not because it's useful or it's nearby, but something that really sparks something. It could be like a color, a texture, a shape, or a memory, like something you look at and it makes you feel something. You will know it when you see it. So I'm going to give you 30 seconds right now to go do that. And I'll pick mine too. Let's see. Something that sparks something. Super specific. Ooh, I love that, Bailey. Okay, so enjoying the outside during the workshop and the leaves of the trees gently rustling in the breeze is captivating. Perfect. Perfect use of where you are. And what is it about being outside? Maybe that's like that you particularly love. We'll say the leaves are your object. Yes. Okay. So many colors of green and how the shade and sun interplay. Love that. So you're observing beauty in real time, something that, when we're on our phones or going to the next thing, like we don't always stop to look around and experience wonder. And that's what you do when you're outside and you're consuming all that is. You're accessing a state of wonder, which is very cool. Does anyone else want to share their object and why they love it? Okay. Holly, inside. Yellow for Cynthia, that's blooming, so bright and happy. Amazing. I love that. Yellow, my favorite color. And then Luke, an old disposable camera. It makes me feel two things. Had a lot of fun on the trip that I used it on and have been procrastinating getting it developed. You and everybody else on the planet, my guy. I love that. And you're accessing a memory and nostalgia, which is like nostalgia is actually, I'm reading this amazing book on nostalgia right now. This is an aside, but talking about how it creates neuroplasticity in your brain. It's pretty cool. Amazing. Yeah, yellow. Okay, so here's what just happened in that exercise. You were given no instructions, right? Like no right answer, no way to perform this correctly. You just looked around and followed a spark. You let something catch your eye and you stayed open to what was interesting instead of what was useful. So that is play. Even those 30 microseconds that we took to look around and observe something, that moment is choosing curiosity over control and possibility over productivity, which is this nervous system shift we're talking about when we're talking about play. And then look at what you all chose. Like some of you went with something beautiful, and some of you went with something that holds a memory. That impulse tells you something about what you're drawn into in a moment of total freedom. And it reveals your play nature, which is where your aliveness actually lives. And we're about to give that a name. So, archetypes. Okay, we took the archetype quiz. Play archetypes are my favorite thing to talk about. Dr. Brown identified 8 play archetypes. And when I work with clients, we almost always start there because once you know your type, you stop wasting your energy on play that doesn't land for you and start building practices around things that actually restore you. So I want you to pull up your quiz result if you have it. I'm going to walk through each one and I want you to notice not just like, yes, that's so me, but also, does this explain anything about why certain things help you and certain things don't? And you may have more than one style. So as I go through these, write down the ones that also resonate. Okay, the creator. The creator play really lives in making things. Art, it could be writing, cooking, building, designing. You restore by bringing something into existence that wasn't there before. So, burnout for you often looks like creative emptiness, like nothing to say or nothing to make. It just feels like there's no point. The explorer. So for explorers, play lives in discovery. This could be new places or ideas or experiences. You restore by following curiosity into the unknown. So, burnout for you often looks like a crushing sameness, like every day feels like the last. This is one of my primary styles. Then we have the storyteller. So, play for the storyteller lives in narrative. It could be imagination, story, meaning making. So, you restore by entering this world, whether it's through reading or watching or writing, even telling. And burnout for you often looks like not being able to lose yourself in anything anymore. Then we have the kinesthete. This is also called the mover because it's a pain in the butt to say. Play for you lives in the body. Movement, physicality, the feeling of being in motion, you restore by getting out of your head and into your body. So when you're burnt out, it often looks like feeling stuck or stiff or disconnected from yourself in a like physical way. The collector. The collector's play lives in gathering. So, objects, experiences, knowledge, beauty, you restore by curating, noticing, accumulating things that delight you. So, burnout for you often looks like a numbness, like things just stop catching your eye. And I think something worth mentioning with the collector is it's not just someone people are like, collector equals like has a bunch of stuff in their house. Like collectors are not hoarders, okay? Collectors can collect things outside of objects. They can collect these memories and experiences. Or maybe you really love house plants. Like that's collector energy also. Then we have the director. Their play lives in orchestrating. So, making things happen, organizing people or experiences, like being the architect of the thing. You restore by creating something with a vision and then seeing it come together and like seeing people enjoy it. Burnout for you can look like feeling powerless, like nothing you do matters. Then we have the Joker. So play for the Joker lives in humor, absurdity, laughter. You restore through lightness, making people laugh, finding the ridiculous in the mundane, refusing to take things too seriously. Burnout for you often looks like everything feeling heavy and humorless. And jokers don't have to be funny. That's a really crucial element. They can just see the humor in things and appreciate laughter, but maybe they're not the ones telling the jokes. And that's cool too. Last but not least is the competitor. So competitors love a challenge. It's games, winning, testing yourself against something. You restore through striving that has a clear result. So, burnout for you looks like nothing feeling worth trying for, or even kind of losing your edge. Okay, I know that's a doozy with those definitions, but did your quiz result hold up? Or did something else surprise you? So you can maybe drop some of your archetypes or your primary archetype in the chat, and then let me know if anything surprised you about maybe something that resonated or something that really super does not. Okay, Bailey, your primary, our director and explorer. Me too. And a little creator energy as well. And Luke, Explorer, Kinesthete resonated as well. Yes, moving, shaken. I think Kinesthete, aka Mover, and Competitor can sometimes be conflated, but competitors need to win. Like winning is the joy, is the play. Whereas with kinesthetes, you're just happy to be moving your body, doing the hike. You like physical challenges, but it doesn't mean you have to like be first place. And then Holly, quizzed as a mover. Yep. Which you agree with, but also a creator. Totally. And I think what's cool about hearing like the quiz just scratches the surface, right? Like I'm o only able to make it so that like you have one style, but I don't want anyone to ever feel limited by this one style. Usually people have two, sometimes even three that they like to move through. Are there any that you guys like definitely don't feel resonate with you? For me, for example, like I am not a competitor. I love games and I love playing things, but I like don't, when people are like needing to win, that's is scary to me. Don't need to be a director, says Holly. Okay, great. Happy to follow along. Amazing, amazing. And such a good thing to know because when you are, and I've seen this actually in a lot of like in my corporate workshops, there are two camps. There are people that are super directors and there are people that are super not. And when they are forced to like orchestrate something or create this gathering or like lead this thing, they like really like feel really activated by that. And so this is such a great example in like work settings. If we had the language and desire to know everyone's play styles, we could assign directors, people who really thrive in this environment to handle those things. You did a lot of directing at work and happy to not do it anymore. Yes, totally. Anyone else have one that like that just don't feel like they really resonates or they really fills them up? Collector doesn't resonate with me. Perfect. No collecting, no need to have your worldly possessions. I was on a workshop once and this woman was like very adamant that she was not a collector. Collecting memories, yes. Um, very adamant that she was not a collector. And then we started talking about, we did this similar exercises, follow the spark, and she's talking about this was the houseplant example. And she grabbed her houseplant and how she loves them and loves to put them all over her house and like take care of them. And I'm like, well, I hate to break it to you, but I'm pretty sure you're a collector. It's just not the way you think. Any others or anyone else on things that don't resonate? Okay, cool. And I have this, so I teach a 6 week coaching program about burnout recovery through play, and each week is a different theme. It's super fun and exciting. And one of the weeks is all about play styles and playing with someone who has a different play style than you, and also how to like figure out someone's play style if you can't be like, hey, can you take this quiz? Or, have a conversation about it. And it's really cool to see that these play styles do have every play style has an overlap. It's just you like the same thing for a different reason, which is like very fun. Even Like if you're going for a walk, maybe you're doing like a walk and talk, we did that a lot probably during the pandemic. And so a kinesthete loves that because they're moving their body, but a collector maybe loves that because they're like, looking at things like, oh, picking up rocks from the sidewalk or like collecting this experience or whatever it is. Explorers love that because they're like in nature, they're exploring a new neighborhood, they're kind of like experiencing this like novelty and newness. So there is these like intersections, and it's cool to see how that kind of manifests in different people. Okay, cool. And yeah, just a couple other examples. So I'm an explorer and a creator and a director, I would say. I love novelty and learning. I like decided to study happiness, which led me to my career. It's also why I love solo travel. But I also love making things with my hands, which is the creator in me, and hosting. I love hosting. I love bringing people together. So that's kind of like my director side. Okay. So most high achievers, most humans with this high capacity to perform have been spending their limited energy on the wrong type of play or on rest that isn't restorative for their specific wiring. So they pick the thing that maybe seems fun in theory, or the thing their friend does, or the thing that looks good, and it doesn't do anything for them. And when they conclude that play doesn't work for them personally, they just assume that's a wrap. But they actually just picked the wrong type of play for their nervous system. So that's not your fault. That's not my fault. Like, we were never given the map to this. We were never given the language. And now you have it. So, what I want you guys to really think about and leave with today isn't just a feeling, it is a plan. So, you have your archetype or a few that you're kind of interested in. I'm going to drop into the chat. Feel free to copy paste. I'm also going to send this in an email. So if you can't take notes right now, totally fine. I want you to do that practice. There will be a practice for each archetype. I want you to do that practice in the next 48 hours. Okay, this is not saving for the weekend. Nope. Not soon, like this week, in the next 2 days. And the practice can either be for your primary style or another one that you're curious about. It will take 15 minutes. That's it. And that is the missing piece, like the first step in the part of burnout recovery that you're missing. Okay, it's not going to like be this magic bullet. It's not going to fix everything right away, but your nervous system needs a proof of concept. It needs to experience that play is actually available to you, not as a reward, not after you've earned it, like right now in the life you have. So let me just paste that in the chat. I'm also going to paste the examples too, but again, you're going to get this in an email. Okay. And by paste this, I'm going to paste it 3 times because My word count. Here, part one. Part two. Okay, your three-parter. Okay, so if you are wanting to experiment with the creator energy, you can make something small. Okay, it can be as simple as like taking your notebook and just like doing a little doodle. You could do it in between meetings, you could do it after work. It's like a really good way to reset your nervous system and not like reach for your phone between tasks. Um, you could, yeah, anything in the creative realm. A recipe you have never tried, a poem, a sketch, any of those. For an explorer, I want you to take a color walk. So this is, I would recommend like go into the like city or the town or something where there's like a little bit more available to you. Unless you live in a place where things are blooming already and things look great, it is very beige here in Colorado. So I would not like do this on a trail unless you're picking brown. So you're going to take that color walk. You're going to choose a color before you leave the house and then notice it every time you see it. So it could be even like you could even start it on the drive. And I like to pick like, yeah, yellow, our favorite color, or like a pink or a purple, like something that feels out of place. And then you are going to be shocked by how often you see it. It's insane. I did this. I was having I needed a like little reset. I was in Denver at my fiance's and I was like, all right, I'll pick pink, but I'm only walking down the block. And I was like, what? What? This yard art is pink. This sign is pink. There's a lot of pink going on. Okay. We also had director. So, a director, you're going to plan something small just for the pleasure of planning it. So, it could be like as easy as a playlist. It could be maybe it's a playlist with a certain vibe. It could be a little outing, like coffee outing, and you like go check out a new coffee shop. Just something that gives yourself a little novelty, a little newness. Okay, perfect. And then you can also try the other. So if those didn't, if you're like, I wanna, maybe I am a storyteller, let me see that. Like you can try and disappear into a story, like read a book and get into it, or a long form podcast. Like there are many options. So that is what I want you to do in the next 48 hours for 15 whole minutes. And if you want to do it longer, even better. Now, I want to open it up for a few questions. We won't take a ton of time, but in talking about play archetypes and talking about burnout recovery, are there any questions you have? Maybe it is like, I'm trying to reconnect with this person and they seem to like XYZ thing. What do you think? Like, whatever it is, open forum Q&A about like play archetypes and sort of how that shows up in your life, or how to even add more play into your life. Or like I had a question during another workshop, and we were talking about this all like comes back together, but talking about like picking up your phone during meetings and how that's been like really challenging for her. And we did a tally of how many times she picked her phone up during the workday, and it was like 103 or something. It was insane. And so we talked about she was a creator play style, and we talked about getting a doodle pad and like doodling in between back-to-back meetings instead of picking up your phone. And we cut that number down by like 50%. So it could be any of that. Just want to know if there's any questions I can gab about.
I'm sure my questions will come once I get off the phone.
Well, great. Great. Or DM me, send me a carrier pigeon, whatever you want. Right now, you're in absorption mode, and that's great.
Yeah. Well, I will say that I've done that now. I've done this twice with you, and it's always a little different, but it's good to hear. Like I keep coming back because I need to be reminded of these things. I so need to be reminded. And there's times when I get anxious and I'm quasi working right now. I'm freelancing. And so I have busy moments, but lots of non-busy moments. And it's good to be reminded of like what I should be doing to help make sure that I have the play and joy and happiness in my life. So I think that's really, really awesome. It's a great reminder.
Yay. I'm so happy to hear that. Even I love doing this, and I'm going to be hosting a workshop, a free workshop every month, because I too need to be reminded, even though this is like the
Right,
work that I live and breathe every
right,
day.
right.
And I'll find myself, yeah, at the computer, and then I'm like going from screen to screen to screen, and I'm like, why am I have like agita, like what's going on with me? And I'm like,
Right.
oh, right, I've just been consumed by everything else but myself
Yeah.
for this whole day. And then I'm like, okay, what can I do? What can I
Yeah.
reach for? Yeah.
Good reminders. So
Yeah, good. Yeah, and I do think like, yeah, it's like anytime I do this, someone takes something different away, and that's like all I could ask for. I think my next one is going to be talking about accessing a state of wonder. And I had mentioned this to Holly, but I'm going to be writing a newspaper column here in Boulder about play and joy. And so the workshops are going to kind of correspond with some of the content I'm writing about. And I think, accessing a state of joy is so important because it can be done from anywhere, and that's something that we just can't wrap our heads around. Like we can literally sit in this room like we followed the spark and like access a state of wonder by like looking at something and have a line of questioning about it. Like these things are accessible to us no matter where we are and no matter how much time we have. Amazing. Also on that note, there's I in my 6-week course. And then also I have a one-on-one 90-minute intensive. It's called the Energy Edit. So we do kind of this work that I'm talking about. We put together what's called a resourcing menu. So if you're feeling anxious or feeling agitated or whatever, insert disconnected feeling here, you have this menu of things that fill you up in like 20 seconds to 5 minutes to maybe a few hours, that you can literally say, okay, I don't feel good. I have 20 seconds. I'm going to do this thing, and like I call it like ordering a la carte. So there's a lot of fun ways to expand on everything that you're learning. Okay,
Not a question, but I did just want to say that it is really nice that you put all these like this week challenges on here because although there's some that I really didn't resonate, all of these actually sound like something that I want to do and try out this week. So it's pretty cool that even though on the surface it might not resonate, there still might be a piece of it that fits. So thanks for putting that together. I'm excited.
that thrills me to no end. Thank you for looking at it. Yeah, I think that's a nail on the head. It's like you think something's not for you, and then you're like, oh, actually, I guess I could try it. And I had previously hosted these monthly in-person camps here where we would do different exercises that correspond to the different play styles. Luke, I know you've been. And it's really cool to watch people be like, "Oh, I actually think I really enjoyed that. Maybe I am a little bit of a, insert play style here." Can't wait to hear what you guys try. Please text me, DM me, send me the carrier pigeon, however you can communicate. I'd love to hear what you do and what you thought. Okay, so before I let you guys go, I want you to just like sit with what we've covered for a second so that it doesn't float away the moment you close this tab. So, even if you came in here as someone who has been tired or has been maybe doing all the right things and still feeling empty in whatever way, what I'm hoping you're leaving with is a different understanding of why. And also a real first step that doesn't require you to have more time or more energy than what you already have. So play isn't this reward for after you recover, it is how you recover. And your archetype tells you which door to walk through. And 15 minutes is more than enough to start. Okay, cool. All right, I'm gonna send you an email with all these deets. And yeah, I just want to say thank you so much for being here today. Genuinely, I know your time is not infinite, and I don't take it lightly that you spent some of it here. So go take your 15 minutes in 48 hours and take care of yourselves, okay?
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.